is a little bit of background before we get started and we hand it over to Bennett. So one of the things that we are going to, creating, say, customer success tools, right? One of the things that we often come across is, how do we improve the customer experience? And one of the core points around improving the customer experience is enabling them to achieve things done faster, is by enabling your customer success representatives. And the idea behind enabling your customer success representatives is basically like, giving them tools so that, they can listen to the customers and they very, very quickly. Now, in that as a backdrop, right, today's webinar, what we will be doing is we are going to focus on two distinct tools over here. One is like, our use case over here is, let's assume we run an e-commerce shop on, say Shopify, okay, and we get a lot of orders on Shopify, and what happens next is, we have it all connected to Stripe to process the payments. Now that's the basic setup that we as an e-commerce company have. And the case in point over here is, we're building for the customer success team, we want to give them tools so that they can have a full view of what the customer is buying on Shopify, and they listen to them. And then one of the functionality that they're asking is, how do we process refunds? Now, this itself can be very, very complex in different organizations. For example, if it's a refund of a product which has been consumed for more than, say, 10 days, or a certain product line which has been consumed for more than 21 days. So you may have different refund policy with respect to different product, or as an organization, you might have a standard refund policy. Like, if we have shipped something 6 months, before 6 months, we are in a position to take it back, right? So it all depends on, how you would want to build your refund tools. The point over here is there are not many tools that exist out of the box, and which is where, low code, no code really comes very, very handy, because here you could go about doing those use cases, building those use cases extremely fast. So now, without wasting a lot of time, given that now you all have full context to what exactly we are going to build, I would hand it over to my colleague, Fenil, and over to you, Fenil.
Sure. Thank you, Jinin. Can I get permission for sharing my screen?
Of course. Just give me a second. I think it should be given now. You want to check?
Yeah, I can share my screen now.
Excellent. Okay, thanks.
Sure. Here I have a login into the Studio platform. So let me try creating a new application. So we have a ready templates where there is a Stripe refund tool template which is already there. So without starting from scratch, let's use the same template and let's install this template. So this is how it will look for. Here we can look at the preview, and I think this is what we will be building it. So let me use this template. So it will install with demo data, but we'll change that with our actual account details. So let's. Okay, so the template has been installed. So on the left side, the table which we are seeing here, we would like to see our Shopify orders. So let's go to the data. So currently it is bound with a sheet dummy data. So we will add a new connector which has Shopify connection. So here we'll select get all orders. So I already have one account added. So for a new, let us add one more account. Just that. So subdomain is my subdomain of my Shopify account. So my Deltex is the one. So API key and API password is something we can refer to this documentation, which we can go to the apps. We'll have to create a private app. So I'll create a new private app. So here we can give a app name. So we are building Stripe Refund tool. So we can just give a email ID, and there are two bare minimum permissions we would require. So one is orders. So we'll be getting a list of so read access is also fine, but I'll take read and write access and a product information as well. So let me go to product and I'll give a read write access. So rest all we can keep all defaults. Once I save this, it will create a new app and I'll get a API key and secret. So here I'll copy the API key, paste it over here, go again, copy the API secret. Sorry, the API password. This I'll copy the password and I'll paste. So here you can see a new account got added. So let's select this newly added account and we'll have to give a name. So get orders. Let's just say get Shopify orders. So limit is basically if you have more number of items, we can select the appropriate number. So here we'll just see the ones which are paid. We'll fetch those orders, and I think rest all details let's keep default. So now that connector is added, I'll just select the connector, and here we will add a few of the keys. So that is orders.name, which is a order number. That is orders dot contact email. So which would give the whoever has ordered the uh, so that user's email ID, and orders dot that is the created at just so that we capture the order time. So that, and we can just update the labels. Let's save this. So it's saved. So we can preview this, like how does it appear. So there's a preview button at the top right, and here you can see these are the 5 orders which are there. So now once we get this order, suppose you want to refund the order 1005. So what we'll do is from this order ID, we got the user's email ID. From this user ID, we will then connect to the Stripe details of that particular customer. So now let's move on adding the Stripe details. So we'll add couple of controls now. So let's add a text control for getting the customer ID. So let's name it customer ID. So this would be just a read only, or you can even hide this ID. So this is just for our subsequent API calls for Stripe would require that. So we don't need the detail card. So I'll remove this, and the email compose also I don't need, so I'll remove this. Let me add. So now on click of individual order, I need a Stripe customer ID. So I'll go to the data option and let's add a Stripe connector. So we'll add a new connector, Stripe. So first we'll need to get the customer list. So here again we'll have to connect a Stripe account if it's new. We haven't added earlier. So let me add one, and the API key we can get it from under developers. There is API key option. You can use the secret key. This is a test keys, but for your live environment, you will have live secret key, so you can use those. Uh, asking for. Okay. So I copied this, and this we can add it over here. So as you can see, the Stripe account is also connected now. So we can use this account. So let's give a name. So we need a customer ID. Limit is fine. The email ID we can use our table grid which is there. So whichever the table grid item is selected, we will get the email ID. So basically the contact email from here. And let's save this. So now to see this in action, I'll click on preview. So whichever the ID is selected, oh, I guess this is hidden. I'll just show and I'll just make it read only. And let me preview this. So you can see, depending on the selection, just a moment. We are yet to provide a connector over here. So we just need data.id, and that's it. This formula can be viewed over here also in the custom section, and you can simply save this. And let's preview this now. So if you see, the ID is now visible. So I'll change this. The auto gets triggered. So any dependent controls get changed. The uh, entire value get reevaluated. So now we get the customer ID. So for this customer, we'll need all the charges which are being added. So we'll add another control called table grid control. So basically here we will just populate all the Stripe charges which we have, as in we have charged for this particular user. So I'll go to data connector. So we'll add a new connector, same Stripe, and then we'll get all charges for that particular customer. So we'll use the same account. So let's name this get all charges.
So just to add over here, the transform response that we see, right, is one of the new things that we have added. Now, typically, the logic behind adding a transform response is, let's assume you are getting, when you call an API and you get certain response from them, and you would want to, change it or add a new key to it. A good case in point is, say, let's assume you're using Airtable API, and you're getting in the data from different tables and different columns over there. Now, there might be a case that certain column might be returning null value, right? In that case, what Airtable does is Airtable will not give you that specific key value pair at all, and that may have a potential to not, maybe break your application altogether, or not, you may not be in a position to build your application, right? In that case, transform response becomes extremely handy. In this case, I don't think we'll need this, but this is just to let you know, just in case if you are building a very, very complex use case, then transform response can also be a very, very handy thing to have on your side.
Yeah.
Please continue, Fenil.
Yeah. So in the customer, we'll have to provide the customer ID so that we just filter out the charges of that particular customer. And I think limit we can increase if you want more number of data, you can increase the limit. And yeah, so now this connector is added. We'll just use this connector. So get all charges. And here we can use ID. So data.id will be a particular charge or transaction which has happened, that ID. So we'll just take that. Amount is one, we'll take that. And let's take status. So it will just show you if the status of this particular charge. We can change this column names. We'll save this. Similarly, if you see since while the saving is in progress, the formula also got added, and you can also add custom formula. So we'll come to that later on that part. So we'll just do one more thing. By default, let us select the first index of this table grid so that in case there is only one single charge, it doesn't require an end user click. So like we have the same thing automatically set up over here. So if you can just so once we install from template, this was already been selected. So now when we just preview this, everything automatically populates. So first the list gets populated, then its dependent control, the customer ID got populate, and then you saw the charges list got populated. So now if I change this, everything will just change accordingly. So if you can see here, so since the order of a same user is there and there are multiple charges which are there, so we'll add one more key in the uh, Stripe connector so that we get a user friendly option also. So let us use this to modify the same. So get all charges dot data dot. So description is something where we'll get the order ID of the Shopify order details, so that we'll be able to relate it. And I'll just modify this accordingly. Sure. So this got saved, and let's preview now. So now you can see this order number 105 in the description, it matches. So if I click on 1004, I'll see all the charges, but I think this identifier will help us locate the particular order which we want to refund. So now moving on to this, so now whichever the charge is selected, depending on that, we would like to refund the particular amount. So let's add another control, a numeric control, which where we'll add a particular amount over there. So let's call the refund amount. So now by default, what we can do is whatever is the total order amount, we can prefill this with the same value. So just that it's easy to refund full amount, and there is a partial refund also available. So the unique idea of this is table grid. So we can use table grid one dot the amount. So this will be by default being populated, but the end user can edit this value. So let me duplicate this spacer, just copy and paste. So, so you can see by default this refund amount got populated. So you can make write validation also, that the refund amount should be less than the total amount. So those validations you can add it over here in the rules. So I think we'll come to that later. So now in the process, refund is a button type. So in that we'll have to, there is already one action where it shows a toast. So this got created when we install the template. So what we'll do is we'll add a Stripe connector to initiate a refund. So I'll click on this. So we'll initiate a refund. So here there are a couple of things which are there. So charge, which is there. So charge is something we'll select from the table grid one, which is there. From there we'll get the ID, which is the charge ID. The amount is something we have created numeric control where there is a different amount which is there, and reason is something we can provide. So this can be hard coded over here like this, or you can have another drop down to have this fields populated. So these are the IDs which are there behind the particular drop down item. So we can have a similar drop down control in your UI to do the same alternate same action. So here we'll give a name, initiate refund. And here you can see we'll move this success toast over here. So we'll just do a move action and we'll move the toast over here. So only if there is a success, we'll see this toast message. So let me close this. Yeah. So now I think we are all set. There's only minor thing which is there. When you, if you notice, there are few of the email IDs which are there. So we can filter this out using our on device, as in the bind API function has a filter capability. So we'll just add a filter option over here. So where uh, get Shopify order. So usually for the real data, you will not get this empty values, but uh, in dummy data, I have this, so I'll show you that as well. How do we filter that out? So where this contact email is not equal to null, and save this. So now once I preview this, we'll notice that only non-null email IDs are listed over here. So, if we change this, this value gets changed. Depending on this, the value gets changed. So let's try to refund a particular order, 1005, and here the amount you see it is in. So if the value the amount is in USD, the amount you see is in cents. So uh, so this is actually $150. So let's try to refund a partial refund, so that and let's select this order incorrect or damaged order, and let's process this refund. So if it is success, we'll receive a toast message. You can see the payment refund is in process. So we are successfully able to refund the order 1005. We can also check this same in our Stripe tool. So this is order 1005, which is partial refund. The 100 amount was refunded out of 15000. So yeah, so there are some certain
So
things which we can do.
Fenil, I would can you also like convert this cents into maybe dollars? Is that also I'm assuming you will be in a position to do it.
Yeah, we can do that, but their API accepts it in cents.
Right. So
So
the trick over here is you can just take this value and multiply
yeah,
it 500
or
into
yeah, right, right.
yeah. So
So I'll just quickly
benefit
show
of
you
the
if we are
audience.
accept yeah, if we are accepting the value in dollars, what we can do, we can simply divide this by 100, and the same we can do while we are inserting in the action. We'll have to multiply this by 100. So instead of this, the ID which is there, we'll have to use another compute block to multiply this, and we can use the multiply function, or we can directly use multiply. And here the ID would be refund amount, comma 100. This also will do the same thing, just that there is a additional step involved. And here, instead of using the refund amount drop down, we'll use compute block action and amount in dollars. Sorry, the actually the key name is amount is in cents, so we had converted that. So I will just rename this amount in cents, for example. So now if you preview this, we can see this, it's divided by 50 100. So and we can do certain formatting also. If you see the created date column, which is not uh, visible clearly, as in not a user friendly way. So let us add a formatting option over here. We'll tell this as a date time, and we just want to see the date. So let's use this and click on finish. Yeah. Just, so right, I think the formatting is not applied correctly. Yeah, I think the data type is not correct in terms of the ISO format and the one which we have. So yeah, and we can now publish this app for ready to use. So now we can. So there are three clients available over here. So Android, iOS, and web client. So in there we can access this application. So you can deploy multiple versions over here. So and there is an option to roll back and other stuff as well. Stripe refund tool. So here you can see our app is in action. You can refund from here as well.
Great,
So
this is amazing.
yeah,
So just to extrapolate on this, right? So at some point in time, you might want to instead of just showing a customer ID, you can bring in your data from your CRM to what exactly was the order ID and what were the goods that the customer had ordered and stuff like that, right? So you
right.
could go on to build for for like much amazing is like for your end user experience, much amazing for your for your customers. So keeping in both in mind, you can continue to build this, but here was like quick one in under 40 minutes. How can you build a quick Stripe refund tool? uh, and yes, like I said, right, in initially, like if you this also can potentially, if you would want to add more rules, complex rules, that if the order value or the refund value is more than $5,000, if you would want to add some approvals to this, that is also something which is absolutely possible and doable. And the idea is you just have to use workflow systems in DronaHQ to get that done. But overall, that is a gist, and that is the idea, right? We had one question over here, and since we come to the end, I will take this, like open up just in case if there are any questions. So one of the questions that I have is like can we use DronaHQ to build full-fledged e-commerce application? uh, the short answer is it's a very tricky question. Can you really go about building it? Answer is yes, you can do it, but if there are tools like Shopify which already exist and they are purpose built for this particular purpose, I'm not sure why you should. However, like you could really do ton of amazing things on top of Shopify, on DronaHQ, or on top of Stripe and things like that. You can think about building internal tools. So my simple answer would be this is not purpose built for building e-commerce applications. But yeah, appreciate that question, right? I will wait maybe for another maybe a minute or something if there are more questions. For now, I think yeah. So yes, but overall, like feel if you are new to Drona HQ, this it's amazing to use templates and get your UI in place and then start using the connectors. Stripe and Shopify, both are the ready connectors available. Not just that, we have over 100 plus ready connectors which are there, including databases and APIs, RESTful API connectors. So idea is, and again, we are expanding this ready connector list, at a very rapid pace. So it would be, you should give your, give it a spin and see, how quickly you can really build these things, right? So again, thank you very much for joining us for today's, live build, and we will see you soon next time, with a live build again. So keep watching this space for what more to come. And if in case you have specific requests, certain things that you think you would want to see in the live build, please feel free to reach out to us, and we would be more than happy to take it up as a part of our live build. Right? Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Have a lovely day, or have a lovely evening, no matter which part of the world you're joining us from. Thank you very much. Thank you, Fenel, and thanks
Thanks.
everyone for joining us.
Thanks everyone.